It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Monday Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. I'm Chillie Falls coming to you from Forest, Virginia, Bedford County, right near Lynchburg. Expecting another seasonably warm day today in the upper 80s. It's getting to be pretty good pool weather now. Well, the water's still a little cold, but I'm getting in it every day. We have several news stories this morning, which we'll get to eventually here. We got to look at the weather. Seasonal first tropical storm? Maybe. Residential ship delayed again. Moss Islander sails. Refloating the Aurora. Greece considers restrictions. Historic Ocean Liner Must Relocate. And name a moose. That and lots more here live today at 11 o'clock. In honor of Hot Air Tom, who's going to be in the story here in a minute. Today is National Root Beer Day. Hot Air Tom is a big fan. Go get yourself a float there, Hot Air Tom. Now, it was a pretty good weekend for, especially yesterday, for sports junkies like me. When I watched some golf from in Europe, I watched, of course, the U.S. Open was compelling right up to the last hole. I watched the race from Iowa. And then there was the Olympic swimming trials from Indianapolis, where our own Hot Air Tom was attempting to qualify for the Olympics in the swimming events. So for his heat, he got up on that little stand-like thing, and when he jumped in the pool, his Speedo jumped off. So he was struggling around to get that little thing back on, and he got so far behind he didn't have a chance of catching up. So Hot Air Tom failed to qualify for the Olympics. But he's going to have a root beer float today to make him feel better. And that's the truth. At least that's the truth I'm sticking with, folks. All right, if you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net. Or wherever you get your podcast from, just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. All right. Tomorrow, guys, is going to be Catch Up with Bethany Day. Because I got a bunch of pictures to go through and load, and it just didn't get done this morning. So we'll have a good segment from Bethany Bartley over there on the quest. So, all right. So to get started today, folks, we're going to have to look at weather. I'm afraid we're going to be doing a lot of that over the next few months. So down in the Gulf, that's actually known as the Bay of Campeche, satellite images and surface observations indicate that a broad area of low pressure is forming over the Bay of Campeche. Environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development in a tropical depression, or a tropical storm is likely to form by midweek, while it moves slowly western or west-northwestern toward the western Gulf Coast. Regardless of development, several days of heavy rain are expected across portions of southern Mexico and Central America, and these rains are likely to cause life-threatening flooding and flash flooding. Locally heavy rainfall is also expected to spread over portions of the northwestern coast of the Gulf of Mexico by the middle of the week. In addition, gale warnings have been issued for portions of the Gulf of Mexico, and more information on those warnings is available via the National Hurricane Service. They're talking about a 70% chance of further formation in the next 48 hours and 70% chance over the next 7 days. So this one looks pretty definite to get a lot worse than it is now. And of course, that's going to affect a lot of cruises too, as will this one. Now, out in the southwestern Atlantic, an area of cloudiness and thunderstorms located several hundred miles east of the Bahamas is associated with a surface trough and an upper level area of low pressure. Environmental conditions could be conducive for some development during the next few days as it moves westward or west-northwestward. They're talking about 10% chance of further development over the next 48 hours and a 30% chance over the next 7 days. So, meanwhile, out in the Pacific, we have a system out there too. Actually, this is a new one that replaced one that died away over the weekend. Offshore of Central America, an area of low pressure associated with disorganized showers and thunderstorms has moved inland over Central America, and further development is not expected. So, but it's still worth watching. We'll see how much the rain it brings, how much of this system can marry into the system on the other side. We'll see. But from this particular system, they're not talking about much development. So, but it's worth watching. And folks, it's just that time of year, unfortunately. All right, I'll be back with a couple more stories after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors.
Will the third time be the charm for V Residence World cruise ship V Odyssey? The cruise company has postponed for the third time in 2 weeks the launch of its only ship, 929 guest vessel, that can't seem to find its way out of dry dock. The third launch date is confirmed to be June 21st, nearly a month later than the ship's original debut, which was set for May the 30th. The ongoing delays are problematic for guests who have already booked travel to arrive in Belfast, Northern Ireland, the starting point for the vessel's 3.5-year world cruise. Under renovation since April 28th at the city's Harland and Wolff shipyard, V Odyssey was originally slated to exit dry dock on May 21st and depart on her inaugural voyage on May the 30th.
Following an extensive 3-month dry dock renovation that added the lively and colorful Margaritaville at Sea vibe, the 2,650 guest Margaritaville at Sea Islander departed on her maiden voyage from her new home of Tampa. Guests aboard the June 14th departure will enjoy a 4-night cruise to Cozumel as the ship begins a series of 4 to 7 night sailings to Western Caribbean ports. Mr. Bucket List was, of course, on the preview cruise.
Why not join us on a cruise with Chillie from New York to Rome on the Norwegian Epic? The ship sails on March 31st, 2025 from New York, with stops in Bermuda, Ponta Delgada, Lisbon, Barcelona, Cannes, Livorno, Naples, and arrives at Civitavecchia in Rome on April the 15th. Solo cabins start at $27.32. Double occupancy starts at $16.32 per person. Those prices include all taxes and port charges. Give me a call or text 434-258-9264 for a transatlantic on the Epic from New York to Rome.
I pulled that one up again this morning, hoping to see a price drop. Not yet. I'll keep watching it, folks. Let you know if I see one. The U.S. Coast Guard sprang into action after a retired cruise ship began sinking at her dock in Little Potato Slough, a river northwest of Stockton, California. Aurora, a non-operational 300-foot-long cruise ship, began to sink at her berth into 13 feet of water on May 22nd, where she remained partially submerged. The 1955 launch ship suffered a hole that caused the ship to fill with water. As she sank, the old vessel began leaking diesel fuel and oil into the river delta. The U.S. Coast Guard responded urgently to reports of the sinking vessel to clean up the pollutants and refloat the ship before significant damage could be done by forming a united command with experts from the Coast Guard, California Department of Fish and Wildlife Office of Spill Prevention and Response, and the city of Stockton. While the focus has thus far oriented around cleaning up pollutants, the refloating process officially started this week. The travel industry is very important to Greece, with tourism accounting for around a quarter of the country's economy. However, it is possible to have too much of a good thing. In the post-pandemic travel rush, Greece has become increasingly popular, and desirable destinations like Santorini, Mykonos, and Rhodes are struggling to keep up with the demand. The staggering number of cruise passengers is causing overcrowding on the islands, maritime traffic jams that can be a deterrent to cruisers and other tourists, and hindering the quality of life for the locals, with a particularly severe impact on Santorini. While no cruise limitations have been put in place as of yet, Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis said it's something he expects to happen in 2025. The new rules will likely include limiting the total number of island berths that are available to cruise ships and or a bidding process to call on the islands. The controversial court case between SS United States Conservancy and Penn Warehousing, which would determine the fate of the legendary SS United States, has officially concluded. The Conservancy, that maintains and protects the historic Ocean Liner, has been embroiled in an intense rent dispute with the Philadelphia-based shipping company. In 2021, Penn Warehousing raised the rent for the ship's berth from $850 to $1,700 without warning, which was unsustainable for the nonprofit. U.S. District Court Judge Anita Brody ruled that the ship needs to vacate its current dock at Pier 82 by September 12th or risk being lost. The pier served as vessel a home for more than a decade. It wasn't all against the ship, however, as the judge also ruled that the company could not raise the rent without notice and that the ship would not have to pay any back rent. I have some mixed feelings about this one, folks. I mean, number one, the judge was right that, it's not right for the landlord to double the rent with no notice or whatever the increase was. I agree with that. But the part of it that I don't agree with is that thing looks like crap. I mean, I know it's one thing to keep old ships around, but you got to make them look decent. I mean, that thing's a bucket full of rust. If you don't have the money to fix it up so it looks decent, let it go. Scrap it. I don't know. I wouldn't want that sitting in my backyard. Just saying. Holland America is offering fans the chance to name an orphan moose calf rescued in collaboration with the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. Name suggestions can be submitted on a designated post on Holland American Line's official Facebook and Instagram pages by June the 23rd. Holland American Line and AWCC will select the top 10 suggestions from the comments. The top 10 names will be posted on Holland American Line's Facebook and Instagram pages where fans can vote for their favorite. The winning name will be announced in early July. Unfortunately, Holland America rejected my suggestion of Hot Air Tom, saying that wouldn't be appropriate.
Hey, cruisers, join my friend Nate Valier on the NCL Encore Southampton to Miami Transatlantic, sailing December 3rd, with stops in Vigo, Lisbon, and Ponta Delgado. This looks to be an awesome trip and an awesome deal. Prices start at $856 per person, but the really super deal is for the solo balconies that are $1,056, and with the free at sea, $1,345, including taxes and port charges. That's with everything. So, great deal on the NCL Encore, Southampton to Miami, sailing December 3rd. For more information or to book this fabulous transatlantic cruise on the Norwegian Encore, call or text 434-258-9264.
Yeah, I kind of like that music. I wonder who did that. All right, that's going to end the news portion of today's show, folks. Let's go see who's fussing at me in the chat room on this Monday. Get this over with quick so I can go get in the pool. Hot Air Tom's with us. Hot Air Tom, you were all over this show today. Mike's with us. Good morning, Mike. Robin's here up in Pennsylvania. Bob's with us. Hot one today. Yeah, it's going to be worse in some places than it is here. You know, we've had a couple hotter days than today's supposed to be, but it's going to be good weather for me to get in the pool. Yeah, I have to inch in. I can't just go flopping my fat butt in it all at once. I have to do it slowly. My heart won't take it, I don't think. Oh, wow. As Chillie says, National Root Beer Day. I was drinking an A&W Tide root beer. I'm not surprised. Gretchen's with us. Good morning, Gretchen. Katie's with us from up in where's she? Martha's Vineyard, up there in Massachusetts. Up there with those Yankees. I'll have to get the good doctor to come visit you, Katie. Oh, Katie says I'm on my favorite island. Well, of course she is. Todd's with us. Good morning, Todd. Steve's with us. I like having a couple of people out there in Kentucky. Talked to Jason and and the grandkids yesterday, of course, for Father's Day. And with the kids' schedule this summer, he wasn't sure that they were going to make it over. They'll try to do a weekend. And then, of course, I'm going to be gone, half the month of August and then all of September. So, and again, I could probably get over there, but then their house isn't made for a handicapped person, a disabled person in a wheelchair. So, and it's a tri-level, so I'd really have some struggles there. But I don't know, we'd somehow make it work. That ship has an interesting history. Oh, I'm not disputing the history or the historic value. I'm just saying, man, let's clean that sucker up, put a coat of paint on it, and get it so people can come visit it and, learn about the SS United States. I mean, that goes back a long time. But it just looks like crap. I'd be afraid to get on it, quite frankly. Bullwinkle mooses my submission. Yeah, something tells me they're not going to buy Bullwinkle either. I think you have to be. We'd have a better chance of Hot Air Tom. At least people would be scratching their head saying, "Who?" What can I say? You need to get a detailed report from note on the changes Encore has during its dry dock. I suspect our Bliss will have similar changes. Yeah, I've seen that, and yeah, so they do some changes. That's all. We'll see firsthand on the Bliss. We'll see if they do anything beforehand to get ready for it. And we'll certainly see it afterwards because we're going to be on both sides of it. But yeah, I have a feeling Encore is going to do the same thing. I mean, they are sister ships. There's a bunch of them that are all in that same category, Joy, and Encore, and Escape, and Epic's. I think Epic's the same class, but it's a totally different ship, different layout. I do like Epic, though. So, anyway, I'm looking forward to Bliss as well. I've not been on the Bliss. That's one of them that I haven't made it so far. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the transatlantics. This will be my first dipping my toe in the water on a transatlantic. I mean, I've been to Europe numerous times, but I've never sailed. So I'm going back and forth twice in 2025. I'm actually doing 2 trips to Europe with 1 airplane ride. So I think that's pretty awesome. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for another day. I'm going to head out to the pool here in a very few minutes and get a little more sun. I'm trying to add to my time in the sun and add to my time in the water each day. And I realized that for the last year, I've had no exercise at all. And I come in after a workout in the pool and the sun, and I sit in my chair and I crash. I mean, it just, it knocked me over with a feather crash. So, but hopefully I'll start getting some strength, going in the other direction. So, all right, guys. Kenneth says, can't wait to try the go-kart tracks. I'm hoping they'll let me get on the go-karts. When I have to get, I've got to be able to get close to it, and then somebody's got to move my chair out of the way, I'm sure. Not sure if they'll allow that. I think it's accessible. That's another one I'll have to look into. But yeah, I kind of would. I'd like to. That's one of the few things I'd like to do. You're never going to get me in a water slide or any of that silliness. But yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to try that. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up button. We've got a nice little jump on subscribers again. If you have not subscribed, please take this as my invitation to do so. It doesn't cost you anything. I still have a goal of 10,000 subscribers by next week. We're at 5382, I think it was this morning. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I want to say it was 5382, and I'm not 100% sure on that. That was over the weekend, and it is now 6280. There we go. I'm almost to 6300. 6280 as of just now. So anyway, come on and join this silliness. We do this every day, 5 days a week at 11 o'clock. When I'm traveling or on a cruise, it'll probably be at 8 o'clock in the morning, just so I've got my day. Although that's adjustable depending on what time zone I'm in. So who knows what it's going to be. But we'll try to keep everybody notified on that one. All right, guys. That's it for today. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow morning, same time, same channel. You guys have a phenomenal day. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. And hopefully one day soon, we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.